Take two. Unloading the machine. It's an IHI 45C crawler carrier. It's set up to freewheel because the sun gears are removed at this point, so it was a little sketchy because that crawler outweighs the tractor I was pulling it with, so I didn't want to run into it and overrun it and cause problems. Trying to get the old motor off with the old Chinese skid steer, it worked about as well as you can expect, meaning it didn't. Camera died, so I used the tractor, of course. I pulled the bed off because I'm no longer using it. So what I'm doing is I'm turning this thing into a post driver. But I need a new motor in it first because the motor was blown. It had bad turbo and it sucked its own oil and blew up and threw a rod. So there's that. I'm kind of tempted to put in a guillotine switch for the air so it doesn't happen again. But yeah, we're remounting the pumps, trying to figure stuff out. There's a lot of just trying to figure stuff out. Obviously, we're figuring out how to time-lapse while we do this because I'm not very good at it, if you can't tell. That old radiator came out, putting in a radiator with an intercooler because I have it, and it's the right size. I know it matches the motor. There's a big old stack of pallets in the background, wasn't it? Just kind of figuring, working, trying to get this grill guard out of the way so I could see. I was hoping not to have to, but obviously it didn't work. That front hood was kind of a pain to come off, and well, we'll see what if it goes back on or we build something else. I kind of like it open for visibility on the front there, but I have a feeling there's going to be I'm going to move the instrument cluster to the front so it's out of the way. Got to drill some post holes. It got hot. Well, I guess we weren't doing post holes, we were drilling metal holes. Mounting holes, trying to make it so we can remove all the brackets and get this stuff out the very front if we need to, instead of having to pull the motor to get to it like it is now. This crawler came from Michigan. It was cheap, and I knew it was going to be a project. I knew I had a motor for it, but I can count the blessings of the Lord on this machine because I could afford it with a bad motor, and I had a motor for it. I just have time to put into it, and the skills I'm kind of developing as we go because I've never done a full-on repower like this in my life. So I have the concept down, and I have friends who I can ask questions to, which really helps. But a lot of this I'm just doing. What I'm trying to build, the end result, will be a upgrade to my tractor post driver that I already have. This will fix most of the flaws of the machine that I have. The current machine, it only goes about a mile an hour, and it's really not good on any kind of terrain, and this should be a lot better on terrain, hillsides, being more mass, lower center of gravity, and way better track system. I figured it up the other day. My current tracks, I wear out, tear up in less than 30 or 40 miles, so they don't get a lot of use out of the tracks, and so they're expensive when you think about how much fence you put in before you tear out a track. And they tear out tracks because there's no flex to them. This has that much more flexible track-based style to where it can roll over obstacles a whole lot better. This will have a lot lower of a ground pressure, but the problem is when it does get stuck, it's going to get stuck. And if you're not, hopefully it'll never get stuck, but we always got to keep that in mind when you're building a fence. The big kryptonite of this thing will be rocks and cutting tracks. As you can tell, I'm moving the oil cooler to gain more space for my motor setup because I need to add some pulleys to the back and the drive line to add another hydraulic pump to run the driver. I just don't think that the flow off the charge pump for the hydrostatic drive is going to be enough, so we're going to add some more. The old post driver, we're going to steal its pumps and tanks and put it on here and go from there. I probably not sure. I guess I'm still up in the air on the tank, but probably going to go for more capacity so that it stays cooler. And more fluid is almost always better. Yeah. Now, when you're repowering like this, there is so much. There is an insane amount of figuring that has to go on. I don't think, obviously, this is not a project that could be replicated for almost any amount of money because I use so much stuff that I just find and I make. I have a lathe I bought specifically for this project. Just trying to get in here. I really need, obviously you can tell my shop is super organized, super nice. So my challenge to you, to the viewer, is you don't need a fancy shop to build, to experiment. Now, do I have some nice tools? Yes. That plasma cutter, however, came from China. I have decent tools. I have a decent place to work, but, you know, honestly, a lot of people can do this if we just put our minds to it. And so in the future, you can tell even in this short video, my videoing skills have improved greatly. The next one will probably be live action video. Hopefully all of my audio turns out, because I haven't watched much. Here we're trying to bolt in an upper radiator support, and you know, you bolt it in and then you weld it in place and hope for the best on a project like this. Try and think future serviceability. I should have probably taken all those hoods off so I'd have a lot more space, but I didn't, and we might regret that later. But yeah, we're working on stuff here, obviously burning some rod in, and looking at the phone again. I really need to get better at not looking at the phone all the time. So anyhow, we'll catch you all in the next one, and the next one should be better yet, and you'll see hopefully a crawler carrier running in the next few videos.